With a WWE star having a private video leak and more, this is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Reflecting on his run as a part of the LWO, Santos Escobar told Fightful, "If we look back the past few months, it's been crazy. I've been having the best night of my life over and over and over again. When I think this is it, then the next week something happens. I think one of the biggest things for me has been always putting in front of what I do, who I am, where I come from, and what I'm about. This is Lucha Libre, the LWO, which is something, I gotta confess, I always wanted to do since I got to WWE. That's been on my mind to do it, but I can't do it. I can't. It's gotta be someone from that specific time frame, and that's Rey. But I always wanted to fight Rey, so it's one of those feelings where I want to fight him and go through him, but I also would like to have a faction with him. That's one of those things that you can't plan. I believe WrestleMania in LA a few months ago was the right time to do it. Having Rey being inducted into the Hall of Fame that same night, it was just crazy to have the opportunity. Then having the LWO become a faction, but then I feel like it sort of became a thing, like a movement, like a phenomenon. I say it on my interview or wherever I'm allowed to do it. LWO is for Latinos in the US, Latinos in Latin America, Latinos around the world. But also, if you wake up every single day with the will, the determination, grit, focus, and overcoming obstacles, then guess what? The LWO represents you too. We even have London World Order shirts. It's wild, isn't it? It's crazy. Talking about the idea of him potentially joining Imperium, Ilya Dragunov told WrestleSphere, "My question to this is honestly, who would actually want this? There couldn't be more differences between Imperium and me. Those guys are very cold, very stoic, very methodical. I'm a completely unbalanced, super intense mad dragon. That's the person I am. They don't fit together. Who wants to see something that is not fitting together?" Following Liv Morgan's injury, it has come out that WWE prepared for a long hiatus, as the Wrestling Observer newsletter said. The Morgan injury came across more serious as Ripley attacked Morgan before their scheduled match and Pillmanized her shoulder twice, and they showed Morgan crying in pain in a later segment as well. There is no time frame how long she will be out, but if she does need surgery, it would be lengthy, and the angle was done to prepare for that possibility. It appears that's the reason they did the tag title change, since it was her last match, and they had started doing the thing where Morgan kept telling Ripley she wasn't afraid of Ripley. Before the Atlanta title change, she hadn't wrestled since the title win and Money in the Bank. As Dexter Lumis has been out of action from WWE, Sean Ross Sapp reported that for those asking about Dexter Lumis in light of Johnny Gargano's absence, we're told he's fine and is waiting on creative. On the Wrestling Time Machine podcast, Teddy Long gave advice to WWE regarding LA Knight, saying, "That's why you don't do it right away. LA Knight's over everywhere they go, so capitalize on the overness. Take your time before he gets that big win. And then when he gets it, it will really mean something. But right now, as long as he's over, that's not something that they got to do. You save that if he starts getting stale." Saying this about a former AEW Women's Champion working her way back to in-ring action, the Wrestling Observer newsletter said, Thunder Rosa has been back in the ring regularly training with Shochi Funaki in San Antonio for her return. Despite the All-In event for AEW set to take place in London, it's not looking good for a former AEW Women's Champion being cleared in time. As the Wrestling Observer newsletter noted, we don't have much on Jamie Hayter, but there has been at least talk she won't make it back for Wembley, which obviously would be the goal if possible. Giving an update on the AEW status of Santana, the Wrestling Observer revealed Santana is training for his return. Despite an injury to Elton Prince, it appears that Pretty Deadly will keep their spot on programming, as the Wrestling Observer newsletter said. Prince was said to be out of action for several months with a shoulder separation, but he was also back on SmackDown, so it looks like he'll be kept on TV in some form. Asked if his personality has rubbed people the wrong way backstage in WWE, Grayson Waller told the MMA Hour, "I think people understand who and what I do. I think they've seen my stuff in NXT and who I've worked with, and they understand it. That doesn't mean they're going to be super polite to me and want me to be around. I get that. I go in there fully knowing that. What does it do for me going up to the main roster, shaking hands and kissing babies and asking, AJ Styles, can I please get a photo with you? You're my favorite. I'm a wrestling fan. I grew up loving wrestling. AJ Styles, Shawn Michaels, these are my favorite wrestlers. I'm on their level now. It does nothing for me to still act like a fan. I would be embarrassed in myself if I made all this effort to get here and to get where I am, and I just want to be a fan of everyone. I don't think that does anything for me. You see that in MMA too. You get people who fight a legend and they don't put in the same performance. They don't want to put them down. They don't want to take them behind the shed and put one in the head. I want to. The best respect I can show these legends is to go at them as hard as possible. I'm showing them respect in a different way. For an update on a potential pay-per-view for WWE in Mexico, the Wrestling Observer newsletter noted that after the Mexico tour, several of the Mexican wrestlers pushed for a premium live event show in Mexico. The issue is whether Mexico City's government would pay to bring them in. They wouldn't pay to bring a UFC pay-per-view in this year, as UFC wanted a big holiday show in Mexico this year. Zimbabwe-born MMA fighter Themba Gorimba won his first bout in the UFC in May, as he revealed he only had $7 in his bank account prior to the victory. This inspired The Rock to meet the man and help him out. Here's the video.
And yeah, it's a blessing, you know. I just feel like, you know, it's the life we live, man. Oh my God.
Man, good to see you.
Thank you, man.
Good to finally meet you.
Explaining what WWE's plan is for the free agents, Ringside News noted that free agents after the 2023 WWE Draft included Brock Lesnar, Omos, Von Wagner, Mustafa Ali, Dolph Ziggler, Baron Corbin, Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin, Apollo Crews, and Zion Quinn. WWE fans have seen a few of those superstars pop up in different places at this point. Baron Corbin and Mustafa Ali are getting a new run in NXT to refresh their characters. Corbin will also be Gable Stevenson's first opponent in WWE, which is notable because he was also Kurt Angle's final opponent. Having this distinction with Olympic gold medalists is certainly another feather in the Lone Wolf's cap. That being said, some fans have expressed a bit of disappointment that Zion Quinn and Von Wagner haven't made the jump from NXT. They are both still in developmental as far as television is concerned. Ringside News reached out to inquire about their free agent status. We were told that at this time, Zion Quinn and Von Wagner are sticking around in NXT. That's not to say a call-up to Raw or SmackDown won't happen this year. Mentioning the addition of AEW Collision and the brand split that has taken place, Britt Baker told Not Just Football, "It's awesome because it gives more people TV time. We have such a huge roster and we have the best wrestlers in the world, but there's like 20 of them. There's so many, so it's great to give people a split. For us, we are still getting used to it because we don't know what show we are going to be on yet that week. It's not like a hard brand split, it's not like a Raw or SmackDown type thing yet. I don't know what the plan for that is, if that's going to be in the future, but it's awesome. We've only been on TV for 3 or 4 years now, and we already have 3 TV shows. Like, the network wanted another show, so that's awesome." Taking to social media, Saraya recalled a bizarre interaction with a fan, writing, "I met a real-life Twitter wrestling fan today at the airport. He said, 'I'm a big fan of you.' I said, 'Sick, man, thanks.' Then he said, 'Well, actually, I'm just a fan of Paige, not Saraya.' I was like, 4 a.m. insult. Love that for me." He said, "I just don't like AEW. I said, 'Do you watch it?' He said, 'Never have.' So I said, 'Well, how do you know if you like it or not?' He said, 'I don't know. Can I take a picture?" Touching on Bayley's health status following her knee injury earlier in the month, Ringside News wrote, according to Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, it was reported that Bayley's injury was not too severe. Meltzer noted that Bayley didn't need any crutches. He explained that in her walk, it was visible that the knee was tender, but was not limping and moved quite well around the ringside area. On Twitter, another private video showing Matt Riddle was posted by an NSFW pro wrestling account. Riddle's outspoken ex-girlfriend also posted the video, writing, "Not surprised Matt Riddle has a leaked sex tape. Shaking my head. Misha Montana, get your dog on a tighter leash, boo." She would follow up, writing, "So I deleted my tweet because I found out who the woman was in it and she asked me to. But what she didn't ask for was Matt Riddle to show or share that vid with anyone, especially since he was the only one who had it and recorded it on his phone." And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.